Hey guys, we are doing the learn functional programming by building a spreadsheet on FreeCodeCamp, and this is how it will look. It'll have some columns and rows, just like a spreadsheet. So yeah, let's get started. So in step one, we are going to be using the window and onload property. So over here, it says start by setting an onload property of windows to an arrow function with no parameters. So let's start with that first. And I like to read everything just in case they like to trick us. So in the function, we're going to declare a container variable and assign it a value of getting the element by ID of the container. So over here, what it wants us to do is, so we have this window method. This window function method, yeah. And we're going to just have it on load property. And from here, we're going to set this to an arrow function with no parameters. So we're going to have it equals open parentheses equals and then the greater than sign to make an arrow function, and then we have the brackets open and close, and this is our window. So this is our start by setting our arrow function for the window with the onload property, so with no parameters. So then in the function we're going to declare a container variable, so we could do const container. In this container variable we're going to have it equal, it's to assign it the value of getting the element by ID. So in order to do that, we do document dot get element by ID, just like this. And this will have the string container, all lowercase. Check the code, it's all perfect. Now in step two, we're gonna declare nested functions. It's a function within a function. So we're going to declare a nested create label function using an arrow syntax. So inside the container or inside the window onload on line 3, we could do const create label, which is equal to an arrow function just like we did before, just like this. And the only thing over here is that it's going to take a name parameter. So we have the name parameter just like this, and the body is empty. Check the code, it's perfect. Now for step 3, it says remember the document object has a create element method. So in our create label function, we're going to declare a label variable and assign it a new div element using the create element method. So over here, what we're going to do is we're going to declare, so in your function, we're going to declare a label variable, so const label, which is going to be equal to document dot create element, and this will have the string of div just like this. That's perfect. Now to step 4. For step 4, we're going to set class name of the label element to label and set the text content to the name parameter. So under this label, we could just do label dot class name, which is going to be equal to our string label, just like this. And then under that, we could have the same thing. We're going to have label dot text content, and this will just be equal to name, which is taking the from the parameter of create label, and this is without strings. So we do complete that. Now in step 5, it says finally use the append child method to add the label element to the container element. So it says that we're going to use this append child method and we're going to add a label element to the container element. So over here on the bottom, we could do container. Since we want to add the label element to the container, we're going to do container.append child, just like this, and parentheses, and this will have our label element, or even without any strings, just like that. So without any strings, it's gonna have it like that. So step 6 says you will need a function to generate a range of numbers. So we could declare an empty range function that takes the start and end parameter using the array constructor. So we're going to use the array constructor and return a empty array. So over here, we could declare an empty range function. So const range is equal to empty parameters. Just a simple arrow function, which takes the start and end parameters. So we're going to have start, comma, end, and this comma separates each of the parameters. And then use the array constructor. So we could search what that is. Okay, so we just use the array constructor. It looks like we pass in. Okay, I see. So we're gonna do array parentheses, and before the array, we're just gonna return it just like this. Oh, okay. So instead of having these, should have implicit return. So instead of having the parentheses, we're gonna have return, or I don't even know if we need the return, but we could try it. Array, just like that. Nah, I don't think we need this return. So we have something like this. So yeah, its const range is equal to our start and end parameters, which is going to be and then arrow function, implicitly return the array constructor. So now for step 7, it says your array will need to be a size of the range. You can calculate this by finding the difference between end and start and then adding 1 to the result. So we're gonna pass this calculation as an argument for the array constructor. So in order to do this, it says we're gonna calculate the difference between end and start, and then we're gonna add the 1. So over here we could have a parenthesis again. We're gonna have end plus or even end minus start, and then we're gonna have plus 1, and make sure the end and start is inside of parentheses following pandas. Oh, that did not work. It says that you should add 1 to your end minus start calculation. Maybe we just don't have the parentheses, so we end minus start plus 1. Maybe like this. Yeah, that's exactly what they wanted. They didn't want the parentheses. So it's end minus start plus 1 in the array constructor. So now for step 8, it says the array constructor has a fill method which can be used to fill an array with a value. You use this to fill an array with the start value. So we're going to chain this method, the array constructor method, to our array constructor and pass it the start value. So it's pretty easy. We're going to move that semicolon. At the end here, we're going to have a dot to join, fill method, just like this. And inside the parentheses, we're going to just pass it the start from the parameter, just like this. Now step 9, it says currently your range function returns an arrow with the correct length, but all the values are the value of start. To fix this, chain the map method to our fill method. So now at the end over here again, remove the semicolon. We're just going to pass in the map method, which takes a callback. So in order to do a callback, we're going to have a parentheses, equal sign, or greater than sign for our arrow function, and then just it says callback, which takes the element and index as a parameter. So we're gonna do that first. So inside the parentheses, and then the other parentheses inside that, our map method, we're gonna have element and index. So it's going to be separated by a comma and returns the sum of those parameters. So I don't know if they want it implicit or they want what, but I'm going to keep it as how they had it, implicit. So we're going to do element plus, since they want the sum of those parameters, element plus index, just like this. So now we have const range is equal to our parameter start and end, which is getting passed to our arrow constructor, array constructor, I mean, which has an end minus start plus 1 to find the range. And then the value, starting value is start with the fill method. And then our map method will, like it says, return the correct length. I mean, the correct value. So now we're going to start the next one. And now in step 10, it says now that we have the range function, you can use it to create a range of letters as well. So we're going to declare a char range function using const and an arrow syntax. So we're going to do const char range is equal arrow function just like this. Then it's just take a start and end parameter, so start and end parameter just like this, and then the function should implicitly return the result of calling range with the start and end as its arguments. So we don't need these brackets, and since it is implicit return, we're gonna have range just like this with the start and end. So now for step 11, it says your range function expects numbers, but you start and end values will be strings. So yeah, okay, so we're gonna convert the start and end values in our range call to numbers. And to do this, we could use the char code at method on them and then passing the number 0 as the argument to that method. So at the end over here, I think we could just chain this to our char. It says convert your start and end values in your range. Okay, so yeah, that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna chain it, char code at method just like this, and we're gonna pass it the number 0. So make sure it's not a string, and we're gonna check the code. It says you should call the on the start. Oh, okay, so that was completely wrong. That's my fault. And this should be under the our const char range. So we're gonna have our start dot. I'm not sure if it should be here, but we could try like this. Code at 0, just like this. So yeah, that's not it. Oh, we should do it. It says what? It says convert our start and end. So an easier way to do this, I feel like, is if we actually in our range function, we just did char code at, added this method to each of the start and end in the range we have, and this will be 0. And same for the end. So dot char code at, and this will be 0, just like this. This should be perfect. So now step 12 and our last step. You can find the next steps in our video, which is coming out soon, tomorrow, or it should be already out. Okay, so now step 12 will be an array of numbers which you need to convert back into characters. So we're going to chain the map method to our range call, then pass in a callback function that takes code. So it says that we're going to chain the map method to our range call. So we have this our range call right here, and we're just gonna add the map method just like this, and this will take a callback function as the other the map method always takes callback. So now we pass code as a parameter. So inside the map, our parameter over here is code. Then we have our arrow syntax, and then code as parameter, and then implicitly return. So we need these brackets. So I'm going to implicitly return the value of passing code to the string dot to the value. So return the value of passing code to the string dot from char code method. So over here, we could do code dot from char code, I think. Uh, Move what I just wrote with the code, and we're just gonna do this method right here. So over here, we could do string dot from char code, and this will have our code parameter, just like this. And then this just converts them back into characters. So now you can find step 13 in the next video, which will be up. And if you guys did enjoy and find it helpful, just leave a comment or a like. Thank you.